The majority of today was spent on opening statements. The defense took several hours to address the jury compared to only about 40 minutes from the state. Both men painted two very different pictures about what happened the night George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin. George Zimmerman's defense says this was self-defense. The state says it's murder. And today, the prosecutor chose powerful, explicit language to get his point across.
Punks. These they always get away.
Trayvon Martin's parents wiped away tears as John Guy pointed the finger at George Zimmerman, calling him a wannabe cop and vigilante. And then Zimmerman's attorney, Don West, stepped up with a bizarre start to his opening statements.
Knock, knock. Who's there? George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman, who? All right, good. You're on the jury. Nothing? That's funny.
The defense attorney apologized after a break.
No more bad jokes, I promise that. I'm convinced it was the delivery, though. I really thought that was funny. I'm sorry if I offended anyone about that.
When opening statements ended, testimony began. First up, 15-year-old Chad Joseph. His mom is the girlfriend of Trayvon Martin's father. The two teens were together before Trayvon died.
Did you learn at some point that day that Trayvon Martin had been killed?
Yes.
When did you learn that?
After I came home from school.
And who advised you that Trayvon Martin had been killed?
My mom and Tracy.
And something else to tell you about today is the fact that attorneys asked George Zimmerman's family as well as Trayvon Martin's family attorney to leave the courtroom. They all left, and that's because they are all witnesses in this case. Reporting here from the Seminole County Criminal Justice Center tonight, I'm Natalie Tolomeo, Bay News 9. This afternoon, we heard from more witnesses testify about what they saw or what they heard when Trayvon Martin was shot and killed inside the retreat at Twin Lakes. These witnesses were former residents at that apartment complex, but today, all eyes were on 19-year-old Rachel Jontel. She's been called the state's key witness in this case, and today there were several heated discussions, heated exchanges between her and defense attorney Don West as he chipped away at her testimony, trying to prove there's holes in her story.
The last thing you heard was some kind of noise, like something hitting somebody, and your answer was yes. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You don't know that Trayvon got hit.
He could. He had.
You don't know that Trayvon didn't, at that moment, take his fist and drive it into George Zimmerman's face.
Please lower your voice.
Do you?
No, sir.
That's how 19-year-old Rachel Jontel answered most of the questions today, with a sarcastic-laced "sir" at the end. She's the state's key witness, claiming to be on the phone with Trayvon Martin just before he died. George Zimmerman's been accused of racial profiling, but today the defense suggested Trayvon may be just as guilty.
Describing the person is what made you think it was racial?
Yes.
And that's because he described him as a creepy-ass cracker?
Yes.
Exchanges got even testier as the hours progressed, especially when defense attorney Don West started pointing out inconsistencies in Jontel's stories. Everything from her age and name to the exact words she heard Trayvon say on the phone.
Are you sure those were the words that Trayvon Martin said, or could you have been sort of trying to figure out what was said and that's what you came up with?
I'm sure.
Which are you sure about? That he said,
Why are you
what are you talking
me?
about, or why are you following me?
Why are you following me, Bo?
It was pretty clear today that Rachel Jontel did not want to be inside the courtroom. She did not want to be testifying, and all eyes and all ears were for sure tuned in to what this 19-year-old was saying, including members of the jury. Everyone really just focused on what she remembers from that night when she was on the phone with Trayvon Martin, and of course focusing in on whether or not she's a credible witness in this case. Stay with Bay News 9 for more on Florida versus George Zimmerman. For now, we're here at the Seminole County Criminal Justice Center tonight. I'm Natalie Tolomeo, Bay News 9.